Hello, here is my tutorial for the micro covers that I make. It's actually not a micro cover, this is the micro folder. So it's this folder for you to put a micro inside of, a micro notes. So I'm going to teach you how to make this folder, just like I did this one. So it's going to require a couple of tools. It will require, let's see, double-sided paper, or cardstock. It's going to require 2mm elastic cording, which is this. I prefer the 2mm. It'll require 7mm laminating sheets. Actually, they're called pouches, laminating pouches. Now you can use 5mm or even 3mm, but it's not going to be as rigid. I recommend the 7mm. Anything over 7mm, in my opinion, is too rigid, and these folds aren't going to happen easily. So I recommend 7, and then if you have to, you can use 5. But I probably wouldn't recommend 3 or 10. Okay, so you need that. You need a laminating machine. You need a paper trimmer, or a Cricut, or a Silhouette, or a Brother scanning cutter, you know, electronic cutting machine. What else will you need? I use this for my holes here. There are 3 holes in the spine, and so you can use something like this if you want to. It's just a poker. You can use that, but I use this We Are Memory Keepers Crocodile 2. It comes in handy for lots of projects. So it's going to be, I use a, let's see, sorry, hold on. I use an 1/8 of an inch hole, an 1/8 inch hole punch. What else will you need? A craft knife or X-Acto knife. Okay, I think that's it. Yes, that is it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and make this thing. Now, I use my Silhouette portrait to do this, to do all the cutting, but they all the components of this folder are straight cuts. Oh, another thing is a corner rounder. Okay, so all of this is straight cuts, and then you use your corner rounder just for the 4 outside points. You can do it with your paper cutter. I personally like to use my electronic cutter because we stack this rectangular piece right here, and then this piece right here, we stack them. And so I like for my cuts to be really accurate, just so that you don't see this particular paper on this side or the opposite. So I like my cuts to be very, very precise. And also I have built in my design for my cutter, this particular rectangle, it has little holes so that I don't have to measure each time. So it's always has the perfect spot for the holes because I have included that in my template in my Silhouette Studio file. So for me, using a cutter is just kind of a no-brainer because I don't have to think about measurements, but don't let that deter you. You don't have to use an electronic cutter. You can cut all these on your paper trimmer, or you can even cut them by hand. So I'm going to go through and tell you the measurements for each panel. So the front and back panel, which is this one and this one right here, those are 4.625 inches tall by 4 inches wide. Okay, so you're going to do that times 2. And then the spine, which is this part right here, the spine is 4.625 inches tall by 1 1/4 inches. Okay, so that's the spine. And this is the front and back. Okay, and then on the inside, we have a pocket right here. So the pocket is 2 inches tall by 4 inches wide. Okay, so that's the inside front pocket. And then we have the inside back pocket. This is what you slide your micro notes into. And so that one is 4.625 inches tall by 2.5 inches wide. Okay, and so that's the inside back pockets. Okay, so this one is vertical, and then this one is horizontal. Okay, and really that's it. I mean, it's super easy. So I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna cut them, and then I'm gonna put them into my laminating sheet, and I'm gonna show you how I do that, because there's a specific way to do it in order to make these pockets. So I'll put this away. So I have a double-sided Happy Scrappy paper here. And you see it's double-sided. It's really cute for travel. So I'm gonna use this. Okay, so hold on just a second. Okay, so I'm gonna put this on my mat. We're gonna cut this, it'll happen fast. Okay. Okay, so let's see. I normally cut cardstock plain, but I think I'm gonna have to tell it that it's a heavier cardstock. So, okay, so let's try this. All right. Okay, so meanwhile, I'm gonna get my laminator and my laminating pouch ready. Now, as far as laminators go, not all laminators are equal. Not all do an excellent job, especially the $20 laminators that you get on Amazon. They do great for 3mm laminating, which is a thin lamination, and then sometimes 5mm. But as far as 7mm and 10mm, you need a much better machine. And so I found a trick. An affordable trick, because industrial laminating machines are in the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So, and those are the ones that do 10mm like really good, which is very similar to a Happy Planner cover. But if you use a Heidi Swapp Mink foil machine, it works as an incredible laminator. So they run about, I guess, $70 on Amazon, which is very affordable for a really good lamination machine that will also help you with your foiling needs. So that's what I use, and that's what I really recommend. So for these micros, you can use their 6-inch mini Mink machine, but I also have their 12-inch Mink machine because I like doing other projects and laminating them. So and the 6-inch, I got it at Tuesday Morning for $29.99. So it's excellent for very small projects because the maximum width is 6 inches wide that can go into that. So you can't like put a letter size. Oops, let's see what's going on here. Oh, I see, it just didn't cut through there. Okay, so anyway, here are my pieces. Okay. That is my side piece. Here's one of my covers. This is my spine. And then this is the pocket on the inside, and this is the front. Okay, so now that I have that, you see how easy that is on a cutting machine. It just boom, bam, boom. I don't have to think about measuring. But again, these pieces are so simple that you can easily cut them on a cutting machine. No problem. So now I can see I'm going to use this and this. This is going to be my inside, like this. This is going to be the pocket, okay? And then this is going to be my spine. This is the inside. And then this right here is going to be my outside. Now these Happy Scrappy papers, the way they ship them to you, they're folded in half. So I have a fold here, but it's not going to bother me because you really can't see it. Once it gets laminated, you can't see this fold so much. So in some of their papers, I noticed you can see it, but in this particular paper, it's not going to be noticeable. So I'm not worried about it. So this is the way it's going to look on the inside. I probably should have used a more contrasting paper set for you, but I hope you get the idea. I just layered these two pieces on the inside because this is going to be my pocket, my vertical pocket for my micro notes. This is going to be a front inside pocket for me to put cute things in. Okay, and then this is going to be, if I turn it over to the outside, this is what it's going to look like. And what I like about this is you see how the design is just continuing. It's cut right here, but it's just continuing. So I like to do that. I like for all my pieces to kind of go like this. So as you're cutting your pieces, sometimes it's good to be mindful of that. Because see, when I put them together, they're just, it's all one continuous piece. So anyways, okay, so what I do next, I was going to get my laminator or my lamination pocket ready, but this was done sooner than I thought. So I'm going to take my corner rounder and I am just going to round the outside 4 corners. And I do that because I feel like it just looks a lot neater. And because I want these to be exact, I'm stacking my 2 and I'm punching them both at the same time. Okay. So now these have an outside round corner, and I'm going to do the same for this side right here. Okay, so now it's ready for lamination. Oh, I wanted to show you. So because I cut this on my electronic cutting machine, I have a dot there, and I have a dot right here. So that's just my indicator, so I know where to cut my holes from my elastic cording. What I recommend, if you do not use an electronic cutting machine, what I recommend is that you make a template. You make this piece as a template, and that way when you take it over to your paper and you're ready to cut, you can go like this, and then you can put your holes like this. Let me just show you an example. Let's just say I was using this as a template. I suggest making a template so you don't always have to measure your holes out. See, if I make this template, then I always know where my holes are going to be. And I can use it over and over and over and over again, right? So that's the alternative if you're not using an electronic cutting machine and having it cut these, the holes for you. Okay, now these holes are going to be covered by lamination, so they're not, it's not doing the whole job for me. I still have to go back and poke the holes, but at least this is an indicator of where I need to poke them, punch them. Okay, so let me get my laminator, pull it closer to me. So again, I'm using the Heidi Swap Mink machine. I'm using the Mini as my laminator. This is what it looks like. It's small. It has a very small mouth. The opening, again, is you can do up to 6 inches. And this is what? A little over 4.5 inches, so it's going to be just fine. So if you are using a Mink to do your lamination, the setting is going to be number 5. So I'm doing that right now. I'm going to get that ready. And then I'm going to grab my laminating pouches. And I'm going to have to trim down a letter size laminating sheet because again I need it to fit into my Mini. If I was using my regular Mink machine, the full size one, I wouldn't have to trim it down, but I am going to trim this one down. And you know what, I may not have, let me go grab my lamination sheet. I'll be right back. Okay, so my ink machine just told me that I'm ready to laminate, so that was pretty quick. So this is a laminating pouch, and your laminating pouch is going to be sealed on one side. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim down this pouch to 6 inches wide so it'll fit through my mini mink. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this down to 6 inches. Actually, I could trim it down even more. Okay, I just want it to fit through there. Okay, so here's this, and then I'm going to open up my pouch, and this is the tricky part. I mean, it can be done, obviously, but you have to be careful during this part. Okay, so I'm going to take this piece, or these 2 pieces. Remember, we have them layered on top of each other. So this is the front panel and the inside front pocket. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure they're together, and I'm gonna put them in here, just like that. Again, this shifted just a little bit right here, and so I'm just gonna adjust and make sure that they're lined up nicely. Okay, just like this. Actually, I'm gonna lower this just a little bit. Okay, and then right next to it, I'm going to put the spine, and I would say I leave maybe 1/8 of an inch a gap in between, because that's where my fold is going to go. So I'm going to do it just like that. And then I'm going to take the back cover and then the vertical pocket where we're going to slide our micro notes. Remember, these are on top of each other. Stack them up really good, and then we're going to leave about 1/8 of an inch between the spine and this part, just like this, so that we can fold our cover. I mean, this is how easy it is. These would also make really great Christmas gifts, by the way. Okay, so there's that. I am going to take my laminating pouch. Is this one? That one's too small. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to take this laminating pouch. Actually, I think I need to trim this down just a little bit. Hopefully nothing will move. And if it does, I'll just readjust. But I'm going to trim this down just a little bit more so it'll fit nicely. Okay. All right, everything looks good still, I think. And you'll always want to use your protective laminating pouch that comes with your laminating sheets. Now, another thing you can do if you don't have a laminator and you don't want to invest in one, you can always go to FedEx office. They have laminators in the self-service area, so you don't even need to ask for an associate. And you can use their laminator there. Just take your pieces, just like I did here, and laminate it over there if you wish. Okay, so this looks really good. So I'm going to go ahead and close this, and then I'm carefully taking it over to my mink machine. So this is going to be off camera, but trust me, it's just right here. And I'm going to feed it in and wait for it to come through the other side. Now, you never want to place your laminator on these self-healing cutting mats. I learned the hard way because the laminators, they give off a lot of heat, it'll warp your mat. So I have it over here off on the side on a planter cart. So otherwise I would bring it here so you could actually see the process, but we're not going to do that. Actually, I can go ahead and bring this over like this, and you can see it's going through the mink. Nice and slowly. So once this comes out of the mink, I'm going to trim it down, and then I'm going to see if I need to laminate it one more time, because sometimes I send it through twice. Most of the time I send it through the laminator twice. And then sometimes I can get away with just doing it once. It just depends. All right, so that's done. So now I'm pulling it out here, and it looks great. So far, so good, right? Look at that. Looks, I mean, I'm telling you, this Mink machine just does an incredible job. Okay, so I have a little bit of a gap here, so I am gonna have to run it through one more time. I think this paper is just a little bit thicker than other ones that I use, but it's not a big deal. I normally run it through twice anyways. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take my paper trimmer and I'm gonna trim to where we have 1/8 of an inch of lamination all around. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And then I'll send it through again, but I'm gonna go ahead and get it all ready. Now this is the paper cutter that I use for lamination. Because lamination will dull your blade. So just like people who sew, they have fabric scissors and then they have paper scissors. I have a good paper cutter and then I have a lamination cutter. So now, because this is a thicker 7mm laminating pouch, if I take this like this and I round these outside corners again, actually it's working, but sometimes if it's too thick, it won't punch. And I just want to make sure to let you know, don't be afraid to put this on your table and go like this. I do it all the time and it won't break. Well, it might break, but it hasn't broken on me. And so I'm going to go ahead and sand this through my laminator one more time. And then we're going to get our craft knife or X-Acto blade, because that will be our next step. So if you'd like to screen capture, here is your supply list. And then here are your measurements for the folder. Alrighty, okay. So we have this now. Oh, hot. Very, very hot. Let it cool off a little bit. Okay. So now this is the inside. This is the outside. And now I'm going to create the pockets. So I'm going to take my craft knife and I will do this side first. And I'm just going to, you got to be careful. You got to only cut through the top surface lamination. You want to make sure, because we have a top surface lamination, we have the paper, and then we have the bottom surface lamination. So we just want to cut the top surface lamination. We do not want to cut the cardstock below it, because it'll show on the front if you do that. I know because I've done it. So I'm just cutting through that that top layer of lamination, and once I do that, I have a pocket here. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing on this side. For some reason, I always like to have the pocket on my left. It just helps me see where I need to cut a little bit better because I'm right-handed. So I just cut like this. Again, I don't go too hard because I don't want to cut through the other paper. And then I have my other pocket here. So now our pockets are done. And then you can stick, you know, stickers, you can put a journaling card, you know, just whatever, washi card, whatever you want in your pocket. And then in this pocket on the right is where your micro notes is going to slide into. Okay, so now I need to just fold it up and make the holes for the elastic cording, and then I'll be done. So as far as folding it up, I just go like this and it'll kind of fold naturally. Okay, and then I do the same on this side. Okay, and so now it's folded. Look at how cute this is. It's a great memory planner for traveling. So cute. So now I get to pick my cording. I happen to have pink right here. So I could do pink or I can do gold, but since I have the pink right next to me, I'm going to go ahead and do that. But I could use lavender, I can use green. I mean, there's just, because this cover is so multicolored, I can use, I have lots of options. I have white here, but I feel like that'll be too boring. So I'm going to go ahead and use this pink. Again, elastic cording is available on Amazon. Just search 2mm elastic cording, and they come in a whole bunch of different colors. So now I'm going to punch the holes, and I don't know if you can see them, but there's a hole there, and a hole there. So I'm going to go ahead and use this, and I have it set on 1/8 of an inch of a hole. This kind of toggles between two different sizes of holes. So, and you're going to see when I press this down, you see the hole punch kind of come through. So this is a great, great, great tool. I love it. So I just kind of, sometimes one side is better to see the holes than the other, and I think this will be best. Okay, so I'm just going to hover over that indicator, and I'm punching 3 holes. Okay, perfect. So I just got to take a little, let me see, use my tweezers. Okay. Okay, so now I have my 1/8 of an inch holes, which is perfect for my 2mm cording. And this does a great job because punching through the lamination and cardstock can be a little difficult. So this tool just makes everything easy. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cording and figure out where the end is. Let's see. I think it's right here. No? Here it is. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do to determine how long of a cord I need for the closure, I'm just going to kind of go like this, go around, and it's about this much. I have it going around, so maybe I'll cut a little bit more, so maybe I'll cut it right here. And I'll just go ahead and measure it just to make it easier so you guys don't have to do the guesswork. So I would cut the closure elastic, I would say 11 inches. So I'm going to work with 11 inches here, just so that we'll make sure that that is accurate. So we'll say, we'll write it down here. We'll say 11-inch 2mm elastic cording for closure. Okay. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it in half and tie a knot. Simple, simple stuff. Just like this. Just like that. And I make sure it's tight. Okay. And then I use this pokey thing to kind of stick this through the hole. You can use a pen or even your X-Acto knife, really your craft knife. But anyway, I just take it and I poke it through to the other side, as you can see here. And then I pull it, and then I go ahead and I try it for size, which that is great, okay? And then once that works out good, then I go back in and I trim this excess. And you can take a lighter to it and burn off the edges so it doesn't fray. I normally don't, but I know some people do, so I thought I would mention that. So there's your closure. And then I also create another piece of elastic right here so that you can hang charms. It just makes it really cute. So this is really not necessary. If you don't want to do this part, you don't have to. You can just have it have its closure and you're done. But I love to hang charms from my micro notes folders. So I'm just going to cut another piece, and I'm going to say I'm going to cut 3 inches. You need a little bit more than you need because otherwise it's too hard to cut the knot. And this actually may be too short. So let's start off with 3 inches and then see where we have to go from there. So I'm tying a knot at one end. I'm tying a knot at one end, okay? And I'm gonna go from the inside out and I'm gonna feed that into one hole, just like that, Okay, and then I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to feed that back through, and that is going to be our loop for charms. Okay, so now the next trick is getting this knot tied right here to where the elastic is taut, because you don't want it loose. You want it to be you know, straight against this spine of the folder. So I'm just kind of pulling at it and I'm going to do a knot here. See if I can. So again, I think this was 3 inches of cording. Sometimes I use even more just to make it easy on myself, because otherwise it's too hard to tie. But that's why I like to tie the first knot while it's not on the folder, just because it's so much easier. So let's try to get this in here. And it's even harder with nails, right? All right, so I've got it tied in a knot, but I really want to get it close to the spine. So I'm going to push it down and kind of stretch it. And that's too loose for my taste. Okay, so I'm going to cut it off. Throw that away, and we're going to start again. This time I'm just going to go with what I normally do. So I probably cut it around this long, just so that I can be nice and easy with it. So let's see, this is more like 4.5 inches. So that's, you're gonna see, it's gonna kind of help me a lot. So I'm gonna tie this knot while it's not on the folder. Okay, thread from the inside to the outside, and then back from the outside back into the inside, like this. Okay, so this is a lot more to work with. Okay, so I'm stretching it as we're doing this. Let's see how this works out. See, that was much easier. I'm just holding it down. This is probably the hardest part. Isn't that kind of crazy? So you can see that's already pretty taut, and I haven't even really pushed this down. So that's going to work a lot better. Okay, so I'm just pushing this down, and then I can cut it. And I'm going to cut both so that they're nice and trimmed, just like that. And we're done. So now it has the elastic cording at the top so that you can have a nice little travel charm. And then we have the closure here. And then we have our 2 pockets. One right here and one right here. And you can slide in your happy notes. I happen to have one right here. So I'll just stick this in here for fun. This has a pocket on it. Let's see if it'll go in there. So it's just going to go in there. I normally use mini rings with these folders, so let's see how classic will work. Classic will work just fine, as you can see. So then I'll put this like this, and I've got my micro folder. So that only took 30 minutes, and I was talking the whole time. Okay, so it doesn't take long. It's nice and easy. Look at how cute. This is where I have some like stickers and stuff. So micro stickers, aren't they adorable? So anyways, that is it. So good luck. I hope to see your creations. Make sure to post them to the Journalettes group page on Facebook, or tag the Journalettes on Instagram. Alrighty, happy crafting.